For the past month, I'd been dealing with strange noises in my apartment. Soft footsteps at night, drawers opening on their own, lights flickering even after an electrician checked everything. I told myself it was an old building, bad wiring, pipes expanding, until the third night when the whispering started. It wasn't random noise, it was a voice, soft and shaky, whispering my name from inside the dark living room. I froze in my bed, heart racing, listening as it repeated, "Ethan, Ethan, please don't go." I lived alone. I didn't even have neighbors on the connecting wall. The apartment next to mine was under renovation. The voice sounded like it was just a few feet away. The next morning, I convinced myself it was a dream, stress, lack of sleep, nothing more. But the following night, it happened again, this time closer at the foot of my bed. "Ethan, don't leave tomorrow, please." The voice trembled with fear, like it was crying. I turned on every light in the apartment and searched every corner. Nothing, no one, no sign of forced entry. But I noticed something odd. My bedroom door, which I always shut, was slightly open. I blamed myself. Maybe I forgot. But deep down, I knew. I hadn't. On the fourth night, things escalated. I woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. to the sound of someone sobbing quietly in the living room. Not just crying, broken, desperate sobs, almost shaking. I crept out of bed, phone in my hand, and followed the sound. When I turned the corner, the sobbing stopped immediately. The room went dead silent. Then my own voice, my exact voice, whispered behind me, "You shouldn't be here." I spun around, heart jumping. Nothing. Empty hallway, empty kitchen, empty living room. But something was wrong. The air felt thick, like pressure pushing against my chest. And then, a shadow on the floor. My shadow. But there was another one behind it, shaped like me but slightly taller, slightly distorted, standing still when I moved. The next morning, I decided I wasn't sleeping there again. As I packed my bag, I discovered something tucked behind the refrigerator, a notebook. Old, torn, the pages yellowed like it had been there for years. My name was written on the cover in handwriting that looked exactly like mine. Inside were dozens of pages describing everything that had happened during the past week, even though I hadn't written anything. Every event, every whisper. Every night I woke at 3:17 a.m., and the last page chilled my blood. "If you find this, leave the apartment before tonight. At 3:17 a.m., the loop resets. The next person it takes will be you." Terrified, I ran out and rented a hotel for the night. I didn't sleep. At 3:17 a.m. exactly, the lights in the room flickered, and my phone, powered off, lit up with a video message labeled, "From you." Hands shaking, I pressed play. It was me, older, tired, face bruised, eyes hollow, whispering urgently, "If you're watching this." It got me. I tried to warn you. The apartment, it feeds on versions of us, loops, futures, pasts. Don't go back. Don't ever. The video cut out. I dropped the phone and backed away. At sunrise, I went back to the apartment building only to find it taped off. A fire had broken out in my unit. They said the firefighters found human remains, burned beyond recognition. They assumed it was me. I told them who I was. They checked the records. The landlord looked confused and said, "That apartment has been empty for 3 years. The last tenant was named Ethan, but he disappeared. We never found him." I told him that was impossible. I'd been living there for months. He shook his head and said something I'll never forget. "Sir, nobody has lived in that apartment since 2022. I moved out of town the next day. I don't know what version of me died in that fire. I don't know which version warned me. But every night since then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., my phone vibrates once with a notification that disappears seconds later. The message always says the same thing. "You're next.